Thank you, Diego, for coming today. I greatly appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
I find the reason why I asked you is because I know you help a lot of entrepreneurs within the city that we live in, and you are a wealth of information. But the one thing that made me want to keep talking to you was when I showed you my financials and you said, "What's your background?" I was like, "Oh, I'm a teacher." And you was like, "No, what's your background?" I was like, "I'm a teacher." And you was like, "No, for real, what's your background?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'm a business teacher." And you was like, "Oh, okay, I understand why it looks this way." You're like, "This is good, and I need you to put it over here." And I was like, "Why would I do that? This is concrete information here." And you're like, "Because people don't want to look at it hard like this. They want a little frilly to it." And I'm thinking like, but that takes away from knowing that you're investing in someone who really knows what they're talking about,
right,
versus someone who has no idea, but they gave you something that looks really good. And then if you don't know numbers very well, you'll get lost. So I knew that you knew what you was talking about, because you knew I knew what I was talking about instantly. So I just want to thank you for coming. So tell me about your background.
Oh, like how far you want me to go back?
Just far enough where you see a huge impact occurred in your life that made you know that business was where being an entrepreneur or being in business was the path that you were going to take.
Okay, so I didn't know business necessarily, or I didn't label it as business. It was more of a bunch of us was out and playing basketball in a basketball court, and the adults would come and kind of push us off the court. Excuse me. It just so happened one time that we had like waters and candy and stuff like that, and so we moved out the side, let them play or whatever, and then a couple guys was like, "Hey, I'll buy one of those waters from you," and we was like, "All right." And so that was like, well, wait a minute, because they gave us more than what we paid for it. So we would go to the store. This was like a weekend thing. We would go to the store, buy these candies, put them in like the little brown bags and potato chips and whatever we figured they'd eat, and waters because they was thirsty, and we would sell it to them. And that's what kind of got me thinking like, all right, I can do this and make some money. And then like fast forward, I'm in high school. No, I think it was maybe seventh, eighth grade. My sister, she went to a business college, like a business trade school, and I would read her business law textbooks and marketing books, and I would just, I don't know why, I just was drawn to it. And so I got in high school, my ninth grade year. We were in a class and we were talking about white collar crimes, and so
Wait, y'all was talking about white collar crimes?
Right, white collar crimes.
The ones that get you in federal pen.
Right, ones that get you in federal
okay.
pen. So, but here's the thing. So it was I think it was like a civics class or something like that. And and so in civics class we were looking at, somebody robbed a convenience store, with a 38, and take $50 and get like 8 to 10 years for robbery, versus somebody that committed a white collar crime for $2-3 million, and they get like 2 or 3 years in the Fed pen. And I was like, well, why is that? Like, what was it about a white collar crime that allowed? It's probably the wrong route to go. Like, I promise you, it's probably the wrong route to go. So, but I was intrigued by what would make that. But what would make that person get less time than a person that robbed a convenience store for $50 with a gun? And so I take that, right, and I took what I was learning, and just from business, from reading my sister's books, and this was all things happening at separate different times. So I wasn't putting this together. Like, none of this came together. These are just these different points in my life where I look and I'm like, wow, okay, this happened, that happened, and then because I wanted to be a rapper, at least I thought I did. Right? That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a rapper.
So that's why you went to trade school?
Yeah, because I was.
So you could make your own music.
I could make my own music,
and you wouldn't have to hire somebody out. So you was trying to say
just because I walked in the studio one day, and I seen a mixing board console, and I seen all the lights light up, And I'm like, I wouldn't know how to do that.
Because when I was growing up, I know that they used to hire in Cleveland a lot of electricians.
Mm-hmm.
Was it still the same when you were actually at the mixing board, or had it changed where people were really trained in how to use the mixing board?
No, they were really trained on how to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but when I was coming up, it used to be like get the electrician
really?
to operate the mixing board because they'll know how to move. I don't know.
Never heard of that.
How, yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
But yeah, so throughout my high school, like late teenage years, I thought I wanted to be a rapper. And so, I mean, I still had those thoughts about business, but I never put the two together. So one day
wait, let's stop. Was your mom supportive of her son being a rapper?
My mom, one thing about my mom was she never said a negative thing about me. She always said, if I put my mind to it, I can do it. Oh, okay. She always encouraged me.
She was like that with all your siblings?
All of us. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Because I definitely wouldn't have told my son, like, you want to be a rapper? Oh, okay.
Well, she said, whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. And she was very supportive. Like, and that's one thing that I appreciate, because I hear stories that's contrary to that. And I'm like, I don't really have that experience of somebody in my family talking down or against something that I'm going after. And so from there, so I go to it's a recording workshop. That's what this school was called. It's in Chillicothe, Ohio. So I go there and I learn how to be an engineer, an audio engineer. And we're recording. Now, during that time, audio engineering really wasn't about like rap music. So we're learning to record bands. And so it was like speed metal, and so I kind of got into a little of that because I was recording, I was exposed to it. So because we had the mic drums, you got these 8 mics you put around his drums, and you had to, mic guitars and stuff like that. So we were micing these individual instruments. And
okay, so explain to me what speed metal is.
Speed metal, you got to hear it.
So is it like heavy metal?
Yeah, but it's really fast.
It's fast, so it takes Ozzy Osbourne to another level.
Yes, it's what it sounds like what it's called. It's speed metal. But we're like rock groups like AC/DC. We were like recording stuff like that.
Okay.
And so a lot of music I kind of got accustomed to, just like the hearing, because that's what we were recording.
So do you go see AC/DC, like if they ever come out with a concert? Or...
No, so
were you into Marilyn Manson?
Not into it like that, but it was a couple.
But you used to listen to
but no, I
wasn't his name Marilyn Manson?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he was on my playlist.
Oh, wow!
When I'm listening for music, I'm listening for the music. I'm not listening for necessarily the artist. So it might be like a song that I would listen to, but it wasn't where you couldn't find Marilyn Manson on my playlist.
Okay, wow. So how did you get out of speed metal?
No, but that's because that's what we were recording. Because the rap piece wasn't being taught at that school at that time, because everything was like synthesizers and stuff like that. We were like doing like real live bands, and we were recording like now. Well, I want to say now because it's different still, but back then there was these 2-inch reels. So reels are like there's these big circle things.
I know. Yes.
So they're 2-inch, right? And so in order for us to edit, we got this machine, we would record, and then we had to edit something, we had to splice it. That means we would have to kind of find out where that area is on that tape, take the tape out, take like almost like an X-Acto knife, and listen kind of where it's at, and we'll have to slice that part out, and then tape it back together. And so that's how archaic. And that's how I learned.
That's truly like a long time ago. Do they even use reels still to this day?
I'm not
sure.
You
seen? Oh, have you even been in the studio lately?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I haven't.
All right.
And so now I'm graduated, right? And
one of my first jobs was at Electra Records,
okay,
where I had to really, I had to love music. I had to know different types of music.
So what did you do at Electra?
I was a college intern, so I was the girl at the clubs who pushed the music to the DJs.
Okay.
So I got in for free.
Okay.
And I had to keep a clear head. So I've never been a drinker, but I pushed the music to the DJs. So, and I would have to be in contact with them, because if you heard the music in the club, then you would want to hear the music on the radio, because back then people used to call in and request songs. So that was my job.
Interesting.
Yep. And so when the rep would come in, he would always pick up the college interns. And I think the rep for this area, he also did Ohio and Columbus, because it was different reps. It was the artist rep and it was the label rep. And they always had to follow the artist, which was something new that I didn't know. I thought that I just thought they had a different rep, and I thought that was the life I wanted to live, because it was just like, we out here, like, we live in this big life. And somebody that I know got, actually, I'm not going to tell this story on camera. I'll tell you the story off camera, but I'm not going to tell the story on camera. And I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I was just like, okay, what's next? And I just finished school. But go ahead, go back to your story.
So I graduated. I started working in the studio, and I realized that I didn't like it. So I went to school for it. I'm finally working in the studio, and realized I didn't like it. But so this is kind of how the business part kind of merged, right? And the reason I didn't like it is because the same people I would see coming into the studio time and time again recording never did anything after that.
Oh, wow.
And so you have people coming into the studio and they're recording, and they're going listening to, Scarface or whatever they listen to, and they're not really focused on the music they just came in there and did. And so I was wondering. I was like, well, I wonder why is that. So I'm curious.
Oh my goodness. I know where this is going.
And so I realized that a lot of the artists that were coming in there recording, they knew the music, but they didn't know the business. And so I immersed myself into the business. I went and bought almost any book you could think of music around that time, as far as the business part. I bought, in addition to regular business books, books on artist management. This Business of Music was a big one. It was a business law, like all of that. And so then I began to show artists how to start their own companies, filing with the state, tax ID numbers, doing their copyrights, and so now the needle is moving a little bit. So from there, I started doing. Now at this time.
So I know you said the needle is moving a little bit, but I still think a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this from a teacher perspective. I can sit in the classroom and tell a student something. They don't believe me. And then when I see them in real life, like after they left my class, they're like, well, when you said such and such, that was really true. So you thought I was sitting in this classroom getting a paycheck and telling you this information for no reason? Like, there has to be some type of passion and some type of value to your life when you sit in a business class. Like, there just has to be. But it's true. A lot of people, they won't set up their business right, which is why I came up with the ebook to walk people through the steps. And I went through the book recently, and there are like 8 steps that you need to take to really set up your business. And it should take you no longer than 60 days if you want to have a DUNS number. But you're right. They don't set up their business and they wait till they're making 6 figures or they're making 5 figures to know or hear, like, you need to do this.
Yeah. And that was pretty much kind of the business part kind of tied to it. And then from there, I was kind of at the same. So a lot of this stuff is happening at the same time. So before I graduated, I graduated. My friend and I, we were throwing cabarets.
I remember those.
Right. So we were throwing cabarets, and we would pay artists to come and perform because there was no outlet for them to perform and get paid. It wasn't a lot, but it was something, right? And we were definitely under 21 throwing cabarets, right? And we rented out.
I know the motto, but explain a cabaret.
So a cabaret is when you rent a hall and you charge people to come in and they bring their own alcohol. And we'll have a photographer, we'll have a DJ, we'll have setups. The setups are like, you pay, I forgot how much it was back then, but you'll pay a certain amount and then you'll get like 4 styrofoam cups, a styrofoam bucket full of ice, and some like sodas to kind of go with your whatever you mixing it, at your table, whatever. And people would come in and they would just, have a ball, and we'll have an artist performing. And so then we, so now I'm getting into like artist management, right? So then I had this sheet that was called the hit list that I made up, and the hit list was like the top 20, like new releases or hot music that was coming out, and so we would put these in record stores, and what we would do is on the backside would be like an advertisement.
Can you explain what a record store is?
So a record store is
just
where
in case somebody don't know.
Right. So a record store is where you used to go and pick up tapes or compact disc, what they call CDs, if you remember what those are.
Yes.
And so because you couldn't, like, where we at now is like light
So
years.
I used to work at Camelot. That
Okay.
was one of my first jobs. So Camelot was a company that sold music.
Mm-hmm.
When I say I really thought I was going to do music, I was really into music. I worked in a music store. I found out how, like, I was on this organization for our campus that did all of the programming. Mm-hmm. So any entertainment program, we brought in new releases, we brought in artists. We had a concert every year. It was the biggest concert in the city. And I knew that that's what I was going to do. So anything, I would tell somebody now, if you know you're passionate about something, to find that path. Like you're talking about how you did artist management,
right.
You went to school, you stayed in that area, regardless of what else was going on in your life,
mm-hmm.
You stayed in that area throughout. Like, I'm going to do music, I'm going to read these books, I want to learn how to do this. And I did that as well until I was like I told you, I was like, no, I'm done. But yes, I worked at Camelot. So a record store is where we used to buy music as teenagers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we put these, and what we would do, we would get all like the popular music, and then like some of the local artists we'll add into those numbers, because when you were in a record store at the time, like it wasn't like internet, like you didn't know what was coming out, and if you did, like when Snoop stuff came out, it was like lines like the Apple Store, right? Because that's what you knew. You couldn't download it. So we would make these lists to make it easier for when somebody come into a record store to see what they should get. Because almost like a Billboard chart, but it was our own locally.
Mm-hmm.
But we mixed in a lot of like popular stuff in just to give it some legitimacy. So one day, and so I had this office on 105, me and a couple guys.
105 and what?
105 Superior.
Is that office still open?
No, it's not open.
Is the building closed?
The building might not even be there.
Okay, I was like, you had an office. Yeah. Oh, okay. How much was rent back then? You remember how much your rent was?
I don't, because my first office was in my mom's basement.
So you didn't have to pay her no rent.
So I had to pay her no rent.
Oh, she was okay with that.
Yeah, but then we moved into, we found a space in 100. We found a space on 105.
Did you really legitimate establish your business with the state where you could have took a deduction for your office, or your mom could have charged you rent? Okay, I just wanted to know.
All of that.
And was you so? Even
I wasn't doing it, but I established it.
Oh, okay, because I was about to say, mom should have been getting some rent.
Yeah, mom was the whole other story. and so we had this office, and then so one day I get I think somebody came to me and was like, hey, this guy I want to see. He had a record store, and me and him connected. And then from that's what this relationship of me really being in the music business. Mm-hmm. And so from there, he had some artists that he was working with, mm-hmm. and one of them was called Bone Enterprise, which we know now is Bone Thugs and Harmony. Mm-hmm. And so we executive produced their first project, Faces of Death, and I began to do like street marketing for a lot of the larger, like Tommy Boy, Ruthless, and stuff like that. And then I also did tour management. So like Shabba Ranks, we went on tours, and so during that time.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you. Were you married at this time?
I was.
So how did that affect your married life? Because
drastically, I almost lost my family. Yeah, drastically.
Because I don't think a lot of people know this. I'm not in that space anymore, right. And I've been removed from that space. But when I was growing up and I was in the space, it was a lot of groupies. Like,
yeah.
I'm talking about a lot of groupies. And it's just like, how do you maintain a family? Me knowing you as a married man,
Right.
like that's how I met you, and you have a lot of kids because I have a lot of, well, I have four, so that's a
Right.
lot to me. So it was just like, well, how do you do that?
I didn't. I was trash. Like straight up trash. Because I had no concept. Well, one, I had no concept of what marriage was.
Okay.
Right. So I had no concept. Um, I had no concept of how, like, when I say the music, like I got gold and platinum albums and stuff like that, and there's like a lot of different accolades from that standpoint. But it got to a point where I almost lost everything.
So
And
you were making the money, but on the other hand, you almost lost something that was really important
right.
to you. So in the back of your head, it was important, but it was like, look, I'm making the money. I'm giving you the money.
Right.
You should be okay. Like, let's
exactly.
keep it moving. And in actuality, that's not how people work.
Right. And
I think people forget that when they get to a certain status in life, or when they're going through something, that family is always important, you know.
And I was and like looking back, I knew. I mean, I knew. Now, I know now that there was like this God piece I was missing, right? Because it was like all me. It was all, like you couldn't tell me anything.
Now, was your mom a praying woman? Did she go to church?
My mom didn't go to church, but I can't say she didn't pray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there anybody? If you look back on your life, was there anyone that you feel was praying for you? Or maybe like it's always those chance encounters where someone talks to you about God and you like, yeah, and you keep it moving.
I was on this trajectory of proving the Bible was wrong.
What?
Listen to me. Hear me out.
Wait, for real?
It was crazy. So I was on this trajectory of proving the Bible was wrong. I was also moving around into different religions.
So can I say this?
Yes.
I've been hearing that music has a lot to do with what you think. And when you said you were in speed metal, I was like, that's dark. So that's why I brought up Marilyn Manson.
Right.
So then when you said, then you were like, do you think the seed was planted when you were listening to that speed metal and it was on your, like, is there really a God? Like, is there something else out here? Like, what is all these religions about?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think at some point there's a search for truth, right? Okay. And in that search for truth, you go through these different cycles of trying to figure it out. I mean, I'm in Jewish temples, I'm in mosques, I went to a Catholic school. Excuse me. I went to a Catholic school. So now I got all these, I got all these religions. Like where I grew up at was a lot of Muslims. So I got all these influences, and I'm 20 years old, about 20 years old. Or you probably a little younger than that. And I'm trying to work through this. There's nobody in my life that I know of. I can't say it wasn't there, but not that I know of, that would say, hey, look at this, look at that. It was just me and the entertainment business and the streets. But even in the entertainment business, I can't even say that I was exposed. I mean, I was exposed to some things, but not. I don't believe that they directly affected kind of this phase I was going through. So, but it was this search for truth, and how I look at it now is, so when we were growing up, and what I love about internet, like the internet and social media, and kind of how information is there now. What I love about it is that we have access to it. The challenge to it, though, is when you take a 3 and 4 year old who has access to the same information, and now they have to figure out how to process that information at a faster rate than we had to process it. If me and you went to school together, I wouldn't know what you did when you went home until you told me the next day. But now I know everything. I can know everything about what you're doing at home, right? And so now all this information I have to process. So for me back then, I was getting all this information through a different type of technology. It wasn't like the internet, but I was getting all this information, and I know how to process it. I'm in here, I'm making money, driving a nice car. I'm married, but I'm in the music business, and I got all this exposure, and I'm a couple years out of high school.
So you living a fast life. That was the fast life back then.
Yeah.
That was absolutely, because one of the reasons that I knew I wanted to be in the music industry, but I did not want to be an artist, was because I'm like, oh, I could get what I want real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sit back here. I'm smart. I'm not stupid. You know, I catch on really quick. I'll be gravy. Like,
right.
You know, but I've always cared about people. So when you do something shiesty, I'm the first one to cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I cut you off. You don't know. I'll talk to you. I'll smile at you. In my head, I've already cut you off. I'm just waiting for that real big moment for you to feel like you're going to cut me off. But it's like, no, this is what you did. I don't tell you that. I just let you go.
Right.
So I understand what you're saying. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like, now you see everybody's life.
Mm-hmm.
Before, you didn't see anyone's life. It was none of your business. And we used to take pictures to document.
Yeah.
You know, I like to travel. And I started traveling when I was 19. And I was talking to somebody from the first country that I went to outside of North America. And I was like, do you remember blah, blah, blah? And they were like, yeah. I said, I got a picture with them. I showed them the picture. They were like, you really went? I said, yeah, I told you I went. I took pictures and everything. I put it in a binder, because I also wanted to travel, and I knew music would allow me to travel. I could, get on tour, go on tour, like you said, travel.
Right.
But I was stuck at, you do me wrong or you do somebody wrong. And my dad has always told me, that's going to be the downfall of you. You care too much about people. I'm like, don't say that, Daddy. That's not right. Somebody got to care about people. Right. But, so yeah.
Yeah, so the business piece was like still, because that's why I looked at it, like, how can I build these? I'm building companies, and that's what I was looking at. Like, most people's like okay, so I went from wanting to be a rapper to realizing that rappers don't really make any money, right? So
but now they do, though, because of their brand, because of business ideas.
Compared to what, though? That's the thing. So if you're looking at, it's almost like you're looking at athletes versus owners.
Oh.
Right? Athletes make a lot of money.
Yeah, but the owners make more.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the artists make a lot of money. But those who are, the companies that, at least at the time, too, that were putting the artists out and advancing the artists.
Yeah, those were the companies.
They were making the money.
Yes.
That's
yes,
where they're making money.
Yes.
And through the ignorance of artists, and ignorance not meaning that, that they were stupid or dumb or anything like that. It's just they didn't know how to, read those contracts. And so I would like read contracts for artists and really explain to them, like, this is what it means to be recouped against royalties, and like that was my thing, was like really educating them, because I wanted them to build a business.
So can you talk about that? Like, you're not an attorney, but one of the things that I strongly believe in, anybody who's starting a business, they need to seek the advice of an attorney. I understand that there are business coaches out there and people who will help you set up your LLC. But I think if you've never done this, I believe if you've never done this, you need to consult a business attorney. It's easy to find them. You can call the ABA, the local ABA, American Bar Association chapter of your city, and tell them you're looking for a business attorney. They'll give you a list of names, and you go from there. Do you recommend that, or?
Yes. So, yes, but with strategy. And because a lot of times we don't necessarily know how to articulate what we actually need from an attorney. And it's like, hey, I need this, I need that. But when you're able to articulate what you need from an attorney, because with AI, the information is out there, right? You can go on, you can get you a contract and put you a contract together, and that's fine, right? But now you got to think about what happens when this contract gets challenged. Who's responsible for that?
So I think I'm like the only person on the face of the earth that don't know how to use AI. Because I tried to use it recently, and I was like, what is this? This ain't telling me nothing. I still got to write da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
So when you say that, it's like, well, you got to know what you... and I think because it's all in my head,
right? It's
like, oh my goodness, I don't have time. I got to slow down to put it on paper. And it's like, I don't have time to put this on paper. I need somebody else to do this now. Like,
and the other part is it depends on your time, right? So when you're an entrepreneur, you're just starting off. You don't have the money, you don't have the time, you don't have the resources or whatever. If me and you are if I don't have any money, you don't have any money, I may not be able to afford an attorney. But if I can afford an agreement, I may have to pull it offline, right? And and I'm not promoting to do that. But if I can't afford an attorney, why would I let that stop me from doing business?
So do you think you should? And so what about this? What about it being an investment in an attorney? So then that way you made the initial investment. So now you can duplicate the process, because what I've noticed with an attorney, they'll give you everything that they did.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you go to a business coach, this one lady told me, because I knew how to do it, but I didn't want to do it, so I wanted to pay her. I said, "Will you give me all the information?" And she was like, "No, that's my whole business model." I was like, "Okay, well then I don't want to pay you, because if I go to an attorney, even though it may be $1,500, they're gonna give me everything that they did to implement that. So now I can redo the process." But I think that's just how my brain works.
I would say case by case, and I would say case by case, because I'm thinking about, here's this person that really can't afford it. I'm trying to sell lollipops, right? I can't afford an attorney, but I can go register my own LLC.
For $99,
I can go get my own tax ID number.
For free.
I can get my own DUNS
for free.
number for free. I
for
get
free.
my own DUNS number. And these are things that attorney, do.
They will do.
When it comes to an agreement, depending on how complex the agreement is, if it's just me, you agreeing that, I'm gonna buy lollipops from you for, a nickel, so I can sell them for 15 cents, and we got an agreement, then, I may not need an attorney for that. But I'm gonna still put an agreement together, because paper make paper, right? And agreements are not necessarily for the two individuals. In my experience, agreements are not necessarily for the two individuals that are agreeing to it. It's for somebody else that has to come in and translate it if something happens, right? Because they may not know. Me and you make an agreement on lollipops. They may not know what we talked about, right? Mm-hmm. So that contract has to say what we talked about, because if something happened to me or something happened to you, and somebody has to come in and translate the relationship, that's all they got to translate is what's on paper, because they can't say what you said or what I said, because we were the only two there. Mm-hmm. And so agreements are important, because it outlines the relationship for a third party. But if you ever go, get senile, or I get senile, and again somebody got to come in and interpret
naturally senile or non-naturally,
right?
Because people do that too,
right? Like, so at that point, now somebody comes in and translate that. So, but the first thing I would say, always seek a business attorney to even tell you. And how I like to approach it is, I know what I want, and I know how I want it. I need you to tell me if it's legal for me to want it like this, and then what are my downside risks, and protect me from that. Because that's what we don't. Because everybody talk good.
Oh yeah.
But stuff happens, and stuff happens and we don't plan. When that happens, how am I protected? And that's where I really look for like attorney's advice. Like, this is what I want to do, but if it don't work out, then what's
the worst case scenario?
What's the worst case scenario, and what do we need to do, and how do we put that inside the agreement?
Yeah, because I think I'm in a worst case scenario right now, because I didn't listen to you 2 years ago, and I should have listened, but you just, in business, which you talked about, it moves fast.
Yeah.
Years turn into 2 years. Like, I can't believe that our first conversation was in 2023, right? This is 2025, around the same time that we spoke. And it just goes by so fast. Mm-hmm. Every day, 30 days is like, it was just yesterday was the first,
right.
And of every month. And then that year is over, and then you're rolling around, and it's tax time, and
it happens.
It happens. But yeah, I have had to send my attorney all of my legal documents in case I have to make the decision, which I'll tell you what it is, because I'll probably cut this out. But you told me to leave out of this lease because it was too much, and I should have. And it wasn't until I saw a house that I told you about, that was $3,129 a month for the mortgage, and I was like, this house is $699,000. Like, I could have something for $1.2 million for the price that I'm paying, and I don't have that. So, yeah.
But that's that's the thing with business. Like one of the things I learned, like, so I'm on this verge to kind of losing my family, right? At the time of music business, and I'm searching for this spiritual piece that I'm missing. I know I'm missing it, but I don't put two and two together. So when my wife, we separate. We separate for almost a year, on the verge of divorce, and I hit I will almost call it rock bottom. But when I hit that, then it was like, looking back, I know that God was kind of working on me, and then we eventually decided kind of, hey, let's either we gonna do it or we're not gonna do it, and if we're gonna do it, let's do it, let's commit to it, and then we put we got God in our marriage, and then from there, things just started to
blossom.
It started to take off. It wasn't fast,
but it blossomed.
And
you probably were at peace.
I was at
enjoy.
I had that. I didn't realize I had that because there were still challenges that I had to overcome. But I realized that was maturity. That was happening was maturity. Now, what's crazy is my favorite book ever is the Bible.
What? For real?
It's my favorite book ever.
Are you serious right now?
I'm so dead serious. Because in this quest for me to try to disprove it, it was almost like it was being proven. And so it's transformed, completely transformed.
So when I told you sometimes in our conversations, like, I ain't worried about that, God gonna work on that, you was like, okay, did you really? But
yeah,
because you hear the conviction in my heart, like, because I was serious. He was gonna really work on that, because it was times that I did not know, like, but at this stage, I'm all the way in. I don't have nowhere to turn back to.
Yeah,
like, it's this or nothing, and I've never been a failure. So for me, that trust in God was just, it improved, it enhanced, and it cut a lot of stuff off. And when I say cut a lot of stuff off, it was stuff I hadn't dealt with that was cut off.
Yeah.
That allowed me to blossom even more. It was a lot of stuff. And most of the stuff, and I always tell people this, because with me working with children, I'm like, oh, it came from your childhood. Whatever you're dealing with as an adult, it comes from your childhood that you hid, you didn't address, and you refuse to take the bandage off or the wound off, and you don't want to tell anyone about it.
Yeah.
But that's where it's from. The reason why your life sucked now is because something happened when you was young, and you don't want to address it now, and you don't want to tell nobody. Okay, well, your life still gonna suck. Because your inability to produce now is still it was your inability to produce back then.
So what happens now at this point, especially for entrepreneurs, at least for me, right? Because I've learned how to, just in my experience, start businesses, buy businesses, sell businesses, fix businesses, and I love it. I love numbers, right? I love the whole math. I love that numbers don't have an opinion. I love the fact that they're indicators of issues. It's never the issue, but it's an indicator issue. Lack of money is not the problem. It's an indicator of a problem. And so what I realized about business for entrepreneurs is that your business is designed to mature you before it allows you to mature it. So you can't grow a business if you haven't grown first. And so this business is like this personal development tool that God is using to mature you to who you need to be in order to grow it. But in the process, you can make some money from it. In the process, you can feed your family from it. In the process, you can service others and be useful. That's what profit means, to be useful, is to be useful. And so that made me fall in love with business more, because I was able to see into it more than really what it is. It's like here's this thing that can be designed for somebody to make a living. And then at some point, you can make a life. Like if you get up in the morning, if you got your business, and you can get up in the morning, at a decent hour, do what you love to do, pay your bills, go on a vacation or two for the year, and live a pretty decent life without necessarily going to work for somebody else, then you winning. You don't necessarily need $1 million would be great. $1 billion would be great. But if you're just doing that, you winning. We were able to raise our 6 children who are now adults, just from entrepreneurship and just the ups and downs that entrepreneurship, has. And so, we're great. We're somewhat empty nesters now. I say somewhat because every now and then adult kids come back. But we're somewhat empty nesters. We got 11 grandkids, and I'm living the best time of my life right now.
So do you like when the grandkids come over?
Yeah, I like when they
better
come
than
over.
when the kids come over.
I like them both when they come over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you a good.
Yeah, but
you a good father, grandfather.
but no, I like them when they come over, but I also like them when they leave, because one thing my wife and I, because we've been married 30 years, and one thing that we never had the opportunity was to live in a home by ourselves before kids.
Oh, wow. So when she got pregnant, you married her?
Well, we had a child before we got married.
Oh, okay.
And so we had our son. That's our first one. Mm-hmm. The rest are girls. And then, like a year later, we got married.
So did your son ever tell you wanted to be a rapper too?
No, I can't remember my son wanted to be a rapper.
I just asked it because it was like, Daddy, I want to be a rapper for real, dude.
You know what?
Daddy, I want to sing. I want to be in a minute.
I can't say he ever said he wanted to. I think he might have for a minute, but he had his stints. He wanted to be a skateboarder. He wanted to be, he wanted to be.
He wanted to be Tony Hawk.
He wanted to be whatever he could be.
But he was a skateboarder.
Yeah, he was a skateboarder.
So did you get him a custom skateboard?
Yeah, let me tell you about skateboards.
Oh,
I went to buy a skateboard. I'm thinking skateboards.
No, you got the wheels on.
You got to buy the wheels.
Yeah.
It was like this is like $85. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, where the wheels at? He said, oh, you got to buy those separately. I'm like, what?
You didn't know that?
I had no idea.
So my son, we went to California. He got this idea in his head he was going to be a longboarder now. Mm. So when he started college, he was the only black kid on campus. But he got a custom longboard in California. So that's how I knew you had to buy wheels. Because I was just like, how much you pay for this? He almost killed himself a couple of times. Wow. Because at his school there are heels. Mm. But yes, you didn't know you had to pay for the wheels. So your son, was he heavily into Vans too? Because Vans was like the skateboarder shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, because they was popular in California.
I love Vans. I got a pair now.
Okay.
I got different colors. They comfortable. I love Vans.
Now my baby girl, when they came back out and they weren't just a California thing, I don't know if you remember that time period, but because in California they used to wear them like everybody wore them. It didn't matter what color you were. Mm. And then they came back out when she was little, so maybe about when she was 3 or between 3 and 5, she used to wear them all the time. That's all she used to wear because she liked them as well. She had some leopard ones with like fringes. They was high tops. Oh. They had some yellow ones, some yellow suede ones. So that's all they like. They like to wear. Right. So, okay, you like them. I love them. Let me go to the outlet store when we on vacation and go buy you some. So he wanted to be a skateboarder. And then what about your girls? Did any of them want to sing or anything?
Yeah, my oldest. So I got 2. I think they all can sing.
Oh.
But one, she's pursued it.
Oh.
So she got a whole collection of, like she doing it, videos, matter of fact, she's in California now.
Oh, wow.
My other daughter, she can sing, but she like gospel singing.
Okay.
So her and her husband, I think they live in Kentucky.
You think you're doing it?
And it's because her and her husband bought a camper. So they got a family. They got 4 kids. They bought a camper and they traveling in this camper.
So they do. So do they record it on YouTube?
I think that no, I think they recorded. I think it's like on Instagram or something like that.
Oh.
Because I don't. So social media I don't have on my phone. I have on my iPad. So
Okay.
I don't have email on my phone or.
So how's that going? So she homeschools. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So now she's in Kentucky. So I don't know how long they'll stay there, but then they'll probably go somewhere else, and I'm not sure how that works.
So are the kids 4 and below? Cause
yeah, I think the oldest is 5 now.
Okay, so she gonna be looking for a home soon, or is she gonna go homeschool? I don't know. Okay.
That's crazy because you think like, why would you not know?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, you never talked about this. Like, because hey, sweetheart, because where my grandbaby's going to school at?
I respect adult decisions.
Oh,
I respect adult decisions, and so what we had to learn is to go from parenting to coaching, or parenting to mentoring, because you can't parent adults. That's the most difficult thing you do, parent an adult, because parenting an adult is when you parent a kid, they listen to you. You know, you got expectations, but if you take that into adulthood, until you're adults, so you try to do the same thing, it won't go well.
Have you ever wanted to start a business and didn't know where to start? Well, look no further. I have the solution for you. Download today your copy of the 10-Step Startup. Click the link in my bio, and it'll direct you right to the page on my website on how you can get your own personal copy. Each step it takes, which is 10, to start your business legally in any state. In advance, thank you, and I wish you the best of luck. I know for my son, I tried to let him go in high school so he could be successful in college, but then he did some things. I was like, why would you do that? Like, I'm not the person to talk to. And so I knew it would be damaging. So I kind of withheld, my opinion a lot. But I think what you said is really good, like coach.
Yeah.
Because recently he was scheduled to go to Prague or Prague. I don't know.
Prague.
Czech Republic. Okay.
Yeah, it's Prague.
And the lady told him one thing. The study abroad teacher said, hey, I'll give you $1,000. The assistant, so let's say the president of the college said, I'll give you $2,000, right? And then she went back and was like, well, I can't give you the money because we need to make sure that the classes come together. And I'm like, who does that? Now, this is a HBCU. But it's still like, you should have made sure it came together before he even applied on March 31st. This is April 2nd, and now you saying you're not giving no money. And I'm like, so now he looking at me like, okay, basically, you going to give me the money. And I'm like, dude, you need to get out there and hustle for this money. I done taught you how to hustle. I know you can come up with $5,000. Shoot, I came up with $1,000 in a week hustling. So if I came up with $1,000 in a week with you and I showed you how to do it, I know you could do this. But, he's older now. But your coaching, I get what you're saying. How did you guys come up with that? Like, did y'all sit back and have a conversation about this? How did that go?
I'm always, I believe in discoveries. Like, you win some and you discover the rest. And so I'm always kind of reflecting on what could make this better. What could we possibly be doing wrong, or what could I possibly doing wrong? So there's this thing. Business itself is a mental. Is all mindset. Like it's all mindset. But the biggest thing about it is you go where you go. You show up where you show up. That's who you deal with. And so for me, it's more of I'm always looking at what's exposing me and what am I learning from that exposure. So my children expose me to myself. If I get mad at my son, it's not my son that has the issue. It's me that have the issue, because why would I get mad at my son for going through the things that sons go through? It's up to me to sit back and just be supportive of that and make sure when he fall on his face that he don't have a super hard time getting up. May have a hard time getting up, but not a super hard time. And so we kind of evaluated that, and we're looking at like, if we don't get out of our children's life from the standpoint of offering unsolicited advice, like nobody listens to unsolicited advice. That's really for a person to get it off their chest. It's not really for the person that's listening, right? Because the person that's listening, unsolicited advice is like somebody giving you a sucker punch. You're never expecting it, so you don't get defensive when you get hit. And so we started looking at these different things about our children because they're all different. But we start looking at these different things about our children, and we start looking at ourselves to see how we can be better parents, better support, and that's kind of how we discovered it. And we take that, right, and we look at, and again I go back to the Bible, right? So I take that and I look at how our children, because our children can piss us off, right? Our children can make us mad because we want them to make the best decisions possible. That's correct. And we don't want them going down a road that we had to go down, but we turned out all right. So we take one of our values, for me and my wife, our values are the fruit of the Spirit, right? So those 9 different attributes. So anytime something challenges us, like if I get mad, if I get upset, if something takes me out my peace, I'm automatically thinking, what am I being matured in one of these areas? It's never your fault. Like you can never say anything you can say something offensive, but I choose if it's going to offend me.
You are absolutely right? Correct.
And so
you are absolutely. That's where the harden not your heart comes from. Is that it's not necessarily the action; it's your response,
right,
to the action.
And so we're always being matured, but things always expose us because our maturity never ends. Like a 3rd grade maturity is different than 12th grade maturity, but it's still maturity. So it never ends. So we're always being matured. And so if something throws me off, then it's exposing me. So now I'm thinking like, all right, God, what we working on here? Because I'm not feeling this. And I'll get emotional for a minute, but then I snap back and say, okay, I'm being matured in. But it's never your fault. So everything is everything is feedback. My business is feedback. Like my business is just a byproduct of my maturity. That's all it is. And it's a way for me to make a living. But at the end of the day, it's a byproduct of my maturity. If I'm not right, my business is not right. If I suck, my business suck.
So I know one of the things in my business that I've always struggled with is being on time. I was on time today. Because I knew you were always on time. I said, this was my idea. I got to be on time. But I really struggle with that. I can stay late. Like once my day starts and I have to leave my house, I'm good. But I've never been, even when I worked for somebody, I am not the person you need to rely on to be there at 9 o'clock because you said 9 o'clock.
But that's a choice. So one, you're not a victim. Right? You're not a victim whatsoever. You are not a victim. We've had conversations. Victim is a word way far out your vocabulary. So you're not a victim, right? So it's a choice. It's a choice because whatever you don't change, you choose. Right? So it's a choice. But the other part is you haven't did that kind of like that death to self yet. One of my favorite.
Did you hear me take that deep breath?
Yeah.
Did you hear it?
I heard it. One of my favorite passages in the Bible is Hebrews 9:16 and 17, and it talks about covenants, right? And what a covenant is a relationship to something or someone, right? But here's the thing: in order for a covenant to really be valid, the person that makes the covenant has to die. That's crazy. So in order for when 2 people get married, they go to this altar.
And they come into a covenant with each other.
And they come into a covenant with each other. Altars are for death,
yes,
right? They come into a covenant with each other. But the 2 people that came into a covenant have to die. That means they can no longer be those 2 that made the covenant. These new people have to come about. But for the new people to have to come about, the people that made the covenant have to die.
Yeah, but
and so
okay, let's stop.
And so
wait. Let's stop while I'm late.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
That's well. See, now you have to decide if you're going to make a covenant with yourself that you're not going to be late.
No.
And then
you want to know why?
And then you got to backtrack.
Because I'm tired.
So why are you tired?
Because I'm not putting me first. I can tell you the honest answer. I'm putting everything else first except for me.
Yeah. So what?
And that's always been
What makes you make that decision?
um because that's how I'm gonna live.
That's how you choose it.
Ultimately, for right now, yeah, that's not how I want to live. Like when I didn't own my own business and I worked for somebody else, it was just.
So what did it take for you to change that?
The truth is SOPs and delegation and to hire competent people and to find those competent people. I just don't like when people don't work. Like, I don't like lazy people. And then I sit back and I see them and I'm like, oh, this is why you don't got no job. You lazy.
So now you're a victim to other people's laziness. And victim is way out your vocabulary.
Because I can't do it all. I can't do it all.
Right.
I can't spend my time with God and then.
Let me see a calendar.
I don't have no calendar. I don't have a calendar.
Okay.
I can honestly say that I don't have a calendar. The way my morning goes, I'm always literally like, God, can I just sleep just one more hour? And then that one more hour turns into now I'm going to be late because I don't want to leave out of his presence. I'm probably going to cut this out the video too. But I don't want to leave out of his presence to go pursue money. And it's like, if I don't spend this time with you, I'm not going to have nothing.
Who's to say you're not in his presence when you're going to?
Because I'm not. I don't want no noise.
Right.
Even when I'm thinking, I cannot have music going, books going. It has to be dead silence.
All of this is an extension of his presence. All of this that you build in here isn't so I get the piece of the time alone, right? Because you need that piece. But don't think this is not part of it.
I know it is, but it's just getting up at 6:30 every day. Like being here at 6:30, I'm here at 6:36, 6:37, and it's affecting another family where they're being late to work. You know, the lady who was the opener, she left. I don't know why she left. She didn't tell me why. But from what I heard from another employee, like, you're not the easiest person to talk to. I don't want to sit up and chit chat with none of y'all. It's not that personal, but I never say it like that.
Right.
But that's the truth. Me and you don't have nothing in common. Like, I'm literally trying to figure out a way that I can make money passively where I can sit at home and be a mom. Like, my goal is to be a mom. It's not to run no business. My goal is to be a wife. I think I've been saying this to you since I first met you. This ain't my goal. To make the money is good. We can go on vacation. But I'm trying to figure out, like, what am I supposed to learn so I can help my husband, so I can just be at home with my children. And I'm like, good job. Good job. I'm so happy you did. Like, I really am a cheerleader. I know I'm a cheerleader. I know I like to pass off information. I don't mind giving it to you for free. You don't want to listen to me because you think I don't know what I'm talking about? Not my issue. I told you the right way to do it. Like, that's who, you understand what I'm saying? So, like, I'm like, here, just, I like people.
Right.
But it's like, I don't want to, you know, and once I get in the day, I'm in the day. But it's just like, you got to be here at 7:30, 6:30. And it's like, oh my goodness. Like,
so, I had someone tell me, because I thought I was overwhelmed at one point. Because there was a lot going on. And he told me that I'm not overwhelmed. I'm just overcommitted to things that don't matter.
I would agree with you.
And I looked at my entire life after it. And he may not even realize, because the way I'm saying it sounds profound, but we were just having a conversation. And it wasn't a profound conversation. And it was almost, he said it almost like jokingly. But I pulled that out of it. And I'm like, that's insane. But he's absolutely correct. And so I took some time and just reevaluated kind of where I was at, like, and really looked at, like, my calendar runs me. That if it's not on my calendar, it's not happening.
For real.
It's not happening.
And you know,
Nope, I
I'm
will not
all
let.
over the place. Like
Mm-mm.
I really am all over the place. Like I have so much going on, and I'm like,
Yeah, if it's not on my calendar, it's not
and
happening.
when I do have lists, I've noticed I've been successful because I can go through the list, I'll mark it off, but
What is this other thing is called decision fatigue.
that's double mindedness.
No, that's not double minded. Decision fatigue is not double mindedness.
When you have a hard time making a decision,
That's not a hard time making a decision. That's being tired from making decisions. So if you're a morning person, right? So we make all these decisions throughout the day, and I'm not talking about big decisions. I'm talking about little decisions. We were making decisions trying to figure out, what should the camera be up, should the camera be down, from like those little decisions, right? Those decisions add up. So you make all these decisions. So I'm a morning person, and I'm making all these decisions during the day. By the time evening comes, my decisions are not as sharp as they were
in the morning.
In the morning time, right? Because now I got to figure out what I want to eat for dinner, what I want to do. I may grab something. I typically, I got a way that I eat, right? But I may grab something that I typically don't eat because I don't want to figure out what to eat. If we at a restaurant and we're like, at a dinner meeting or whatever, I don't want to look at a menu, especially Cheesecake Factory, because that's just going to just drive me nuts, right?
Because it's 100 items.
Right.
It's 100 items on the menu.
So it's like 6 o'clock. I had a full day, and now I got to decide what I want to eat. I'm good. Just give me whatever. So you get this thing called decision fatigue. Now that's me with a calendar. Me without a calendar, I'm having to make decisions for things that are not important. That's wasting the amount. That's wasting the capacity of decisions I can make for things that are. And so now I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I'm frustrated because now I have things on my plate that don't need to be on my plate, but I don't know they don't need to be because they're not on my calendar. And my calendar is only designed to keep me focused. So it's a roadmap for my day. Like if we're driving to Georgia and we veer off to go, to a restaurant or to look at some type of scenic thing, well, we just look at the map to know to get right back on.
The scenic thing.
Yeah, scenic thing. Map to get back on.
The national park.
Yeah, national park.
The state park.
Right.
Yeah.
One of those
You
things.
said the scenic thing, so
thing.
clearly you're not a driver.
I am a driver.
You are?
I'm just not a scenic guy.
You're not a scenic. You like scenic.
I'm not a scenic guy.
See, you just looking at trees. You're right. You're not looking at. So you're not going to the state park either.
Not unless my wife want to go.
Okay, so wait, because it took me a long time to do this, so I'm gonna ask you this: Have you ever been to Cuyahoga Valley National Park?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
Do you know where it's at?
I know.
No. So wait.
But I might have went and not know I was there.
Who did you go with that you didn't know you was there?
It had to be my wife.
Because she sounds like she's the outdoors person.
She's more outdoor. Like, I like camping and stuff like that.
Most people camp in a park.
Yeah, most people camp in the park. But
So,
I'm not. But
you glamping?
I'm not a hiker.
Are you glamping?
Like, you can't say. Like, my wife, she likes to hike.
So you don't hike?
If my wife hikes, I'll hike. But I don't. But I like to camp because I want to build a fire.
But that's scenic when you hiking.
Yeah, but my wife likes to do it. And I do it with her. Like, it wouldn't be my idea to go hiking. It'll be my right. It'll be my idea to go camping, because we used to take kids to camp. Like, we had 30 kids one year. We took camping that had never been camping before. So and I was a Boy Scout.
Please don't tell me that it would rain when you took them camping.
No, it actually didn't.
Oh, okay, you're good. You're lucky, because when I took my son camping, it rained. I was so miserable. That was my first camp.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And then they said, "Oh, this tent is waterproof." Well, what they didn't tell me is if you touch the tent, the water comes through the tent.
Right.
Didn't know that. So all night, and I told my son, I said, "Hey, get an air mattress for you to lay on, because we're gonna be on the ground." "Oh no, I don't need no air mattress. I'm gonna be fine with just sleeping bag." So guess who ended up having to sleep on the floor while their kids slept on the air mattress, snoring. He wasn't snoring, but he was sound asleep. I was miserable. And then the guy was like, I'm so proud of you. You made it through. I said, I'm proud of myself. This is the second time I done been out in the woods with him. So you don't like seeing it?
Yeah, I'd say I don't like it. She just enjoys it better.
I need you to go on these trails and remember this.
Yeah, so I don't know if I've been on a.
I need you to slow down.
And she does that for me because I'm
okay.
Like that's our harmony. I won't even call it balance, but that's our harmony. She likes the flowers and gardening and stuff like that. She likes stuff like that, and that's great. And that's the beauty of her, is to see her in that element.
So during COVID, why I asked that, because Cuyahoga Valley National Park, I found myself all the way on the other side of the country, going to Zion National Park with my kids during COVID, and then I started looking up national parks, and I was like, oh, Cuyahoga Valley National Park is.
See, I didn't even know.
It's right down the street.
I'm gonna check it out, because maybe I'll surprise her or something like that. But
that would be a great idea. You can go. It's like, I think it's 5 different hikes you can do, but one month I made it a point that me and my children, we would do all of the trails.
And I think too, I get bored fast.
You get bored that you in the middle of nowhere on this trail that's not well maintained, and that something gonna come out of them trails that's custom to being in them trails because you ain't.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't get bored. I was on alert. Like, come on, y'all, let's hurry up this hour. Let's get this hour over with. Okay, so that's why I asked that. You was like, you don't like scenic. I'm like,
yeah. So, but that's
and you know we got trees everywhere here.
Yeah. I'm getting there.
Is it because you were born in, like, you spent a lot of time in urban environments that you think you don't like it, or like, you know, sometimes you get older, you like, oh
no,
you never thought about just living in the country with nobody around you?
So my wife does. Like, my wife wants like a ranch.
She wants some land. So do you already have the land?
Sort of.
What you mean, sort of? You either own it or you don't.
That's tricky.
That's tricky. Okay.
But we do.
Okay.
We do have some.
I have not bought land yet.
And so so she wants a ranch.
Okay. Which would be good as you get older, because it's one level.
But the challenge with that is that if it's me and her and it's far out, and I had to come into the city to work.
But you ain't gonna be working.
Why not? Why am I not working?
So if we do virtual now,
I still got to come into the city.
I mean, you could probably project somewhere. You could be anywhere by the time you gotta come to.
No, I gotta meet people. I gotta, like, Zoom and stuff is good, but the relationships are built like.
Oh wow! So I would have never scheduled a meeting with you in person. It would have always been virtual.
Yeah, it will. So those would be virtual.
But I'm just saying, I would never have been like, oh, okay, can we go to Marble Room tonight?
Oh no! So I don't necessarily meet like that unless it's like a group, and we're making some
major decisions.
Okay. But if it's just something that's real quick, I'll take the phone call. I'll take the Zoom call. Okay. Something like that, because I value my time. Which is why I keep a calendar, because I value it. You got it.
Oh, yeah, you know I got it. All right. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
I don't value my time.
Yep. And because you don't, people won't value it. They won't. You know that I like being on time, so you were on time.
Oh yeah.
Because you value my time. As I value it.
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
But if I didn't value my time, you'd be like, "Why I'm coming late?" Because he'll probably be late anyway. But I emailed you.
Oh no, I didn't see the email.
But I emailed you because I didn't have your cell phone number.
So.
And I emailed you to tell you my ETA. because anytime I'm going somewhere to meet somebody, I'll text them my ETA because it makes them feel even if I'm gonna be early, it makes you not wonder because we haven't talked. We've been emailing. You don't know if I was coming or not, right? You assumed I was coming because you know me, but you didn't know I was coming or not. We never confirmed or anything.
No, I just gave you a time and I just knew you was going to show up. I did. I had that much confidence. I'm like, oh, he don't have to call me because I always am running late with him. Oh, my goodness. But
so I value time. So when I'm going to meet somebody or I'm supposed to show up somewhere, I'll send my ETA. My ETA is, 3:20, 3:25.
But you said something before that. You said, I'm always on time. Say it again.
You said, I'm always on time.
So let me tell you about what happened before we came. Yesterday, I had given the key.
Not always, but.
Well, yesterday I had given the key to someone who's filling in for me next week. Because I'm not here, because I'm taking another class. I'm going to be a risk assessor. I'm going for real estate. Okay. Because I hired a risk assessor and I found out like, oh smack, before I get someone in Section 8 to live in this house, I need this report. She didn't give me the report because I couldn't get my rental license from the city. And I had to call her almost every day. So I then was like, I'm going to do this job because I did the math. If I go to one house, I could charge you anywhere between $500 to $1,000. If I do my job right, I could charge you $1,000, send this off expedited, have somebody in the Philippines write up your report, proofread the report, send you back your report, and we done. I could do this in probably 2 days, 48 hours at the most. But she made me so mad. I had to call her every day. Oh, I'm working on it. Ma'am, when you took the samples, you should have sent them off to get evaluated and tested for the house. You shouldn't have wasted. So as you always say, like, if there's a problem, what's the solution? So I gave somebody the key, going back to our original story, because I wanted her to have a key. I wanted everybody to have a key so they can get in here at 6:30 and no issues.
Right.
But I forgot that I had a meeting with you because I didn't put it on the calendar because I don't value my time. So I didn't know. I was like, oh, I don't have a key to get in the building. Oh my goodness. Now I'm just wasting this man's time. So now I'm texting the lady who I gave the key to. So I done drove all the way on Superior to get the key to then be here on time.
Wow.
So clearly, I value your time. I value, and I guess it's the people I'm associating with or the big people who support my business. I don't value their time. That's what it is in essence.
Because you don't value yours.
Because I don't value mine yet.
You can't. It's hard to give what you don't have.
And I'm always trying to make sure everybody else,
And so when you begin to value time, it automatically sets up boundaries. Because a lot of those distractions happen because there's no boundaries in place. And there's no boundaries in place because either we don't value our time, we don't value our peace, we don't value, like I can go through the whole fruit of the spirit, like we don't have value for those, because when we begin to value those, it automatically sets up boundaries. If I value peace, and it's truly a value, it automatically sets up a boundary. That means there are certain people I will not be around. Like, and there's no knock against them. And I don't need to be around, and they probably don't need to be around me. I'll probably ruin it for them.
I mean, like my clientele that I serve here, it just is like, I would never talk to you in real life. Like, I would give you and be gone. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and it's a huge struggle for me because I remember when I was at that space in my life, because unlike you, I didn't get married to my children's father. And it was just me by myself, and I was still in college. And it was until recently when I hired a lady who used to take care of my son for me. And I realized, wow, I didn't take the time to say thank you because I was just so all over the place.
Right.
And my parents, they're all over the place. The people I serve here, they're all over the place. And I'm like, and then they look at me as if I've always had it. And it's like, I was raised as a kid differently than you, but I went through this phase because of choices I made.
But they see hope in you though. They see possibilities in you, and that's what you're here to serve. Your business serves a purpose, and it's beyond watching kids. It's
Oh yeah,
beyond
that I
the
agree.
money. Like it serves a purpose. It's just a matter of tapping into that. But before you can tap into it, your business is gonna mature you first. You can't. Time is always gonna be an issue for you, until it's not an issue for you.
Yeah, because right now,
And it's gonna be an issue for your people because it's not an issue for you.
yeah, yeah, because yes, let's say I get here at 6:36. You shouldn't be getting here at 7:07 because I have to leave now. Like I've made my day, and it's just like I feel like you don't value it. So
because you don't value it.
But I do value it.
You don't value your time.
But if I'm up at 6:30 no, let's be truthful. I'm up at 3:51,
right,
2:50 in the morning, and my first part of my day is like, God, please just let me sleep for 2 more hours. And it'd be like, no, get up.
But it's not value a time. It's value your time, like your complete time. And that doesn't mean you have to be like put
I
everything.
wouldn't do none of this.
You have to put like everything in the calendar.
Do you hear me?
What?
I wouldn't do none of this.
You don't do none of this?
Oh no! Did you miss what I said I wanted to do? I keep saying
it. Yeah, I got you. But this is the road to that though.
I get that, but this is frustrating right now. Sometimes you're on the road and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's frustrating when you care for a kid and the parents upset because you don't value your time.
But how do you know this is not maturing you?
I don't know
you
that.
Really want?
I do not know that. I do not know that. I can honestly say that.
Yeah. This well, I'm telling you, this is maturing you for what you really want. This is all part of the process. Nothing happens just to be happening. And everything is designed. So when I say the fruit of the spirit thing, I'm so serious about that. Like you look at the things that's frustrating you, and you look at that list and you say, okay, what could this be maturing me in? Because the things that's frustrating you is not the problem. It's you the problem. Because here's why. Those things that's frustrating you now won't frustrate you later. Just like things that frustrated you last year no longer frustrate you anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've matured out of it.
So when my oldest, he cried every day in the middle of the night for 2 years straight. Then we went to California for his second birthday. He stopped crying out of nowhere, for real. And it was just like, stop crying every night. You crying. But then I think about it now as an adult. I cried while I was pregnant with him almost every day.
Wow.
Then the second, so now I have like the second set of kids. They're twins, and she cried. But when she cried, it was, oh, what's wrong? Don't cry. I love you. Like, I love you a lot. Don't worry about what they say. That's not important. What do you think about yourself? Like, you laughing, but you see.
That's what happens. You mature.
You do. That's why I told that story. Like, I remember. And then, this
can be part of that process, and we never know what that process looks like.
So the scripture that he's been saying to me lately is, "What I do is now, I know it's not, but thou will know soon after." That's the scripture That's
big.
Oh, I know it's big. I know it's big. I do know every scripture that I'm like, oh, and that's very big.
Yeah.
But all of them are big, though.
Right. Yeah.
Every last one of them. Thou shalt inherit the land. He tells us several times in the Bible. It is our destiny to inherit the land.
Yeah.
You think it's haphazardly? No, that was designed from you from the beginning. So, like, I did get into real estate too, because I was like, okay, what's my path? So I don't have to do this for the rest of my life. Like, it's got to be, and we've only been open for 2 years now. I'm coming up with a plan to exit. I'm coming up with
I would say what I realized too on from a business standpoint was after that comment of being overwhelmed and really overcommitted, I looked at the different businesses that I'm a part of because I don't like singly own them all. Like it's with other people and so forth. But I realized I can't operate them all. So I began just to focus on one, and that totally just changed. Now the other ones are operated, but they're not operated by me. But I chose to only focus on, like, now we do bookkeeping and operational finance. That's our thing.
So who's your accountant? Who's your CPA?
So I'll use a CPA of my clients, or I have a CPA that I use in Missouri.
Oh, that's the real estate one.
Yeah, so that's my real estate one because she handles my real estate, so she handles the rest of it. But typically, I use the CPA of whoever they want to use, or I'll introduce them to her, or it's another CPA that I would use too.
Who, Charlie?
No, not Charlie. Charlie depends on, or Borbala would be the other one. Okay. But most of the CPAs
That's the one in Minnesota.
No, Shauna is the one in Minnesota.
Okay.
So most of the CPAs are my clients. Like I got a daycare center that's in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
That she has a CPA, but her CPA doesn't.
How you get a client in Pittsburgh?
Because she found me online.
How did she? Okay, so let's talk about that.
What?
Because I don't trust people online. Yes, I'm going online.
No, I have her. No, I know her prior to.
Oh, okay.
So what?
I was like, wait.
So I've always done like we talk. Like I've always done like finance, like operational finance, but I never looked at it. And then the books I usually kept were just for our entities that we had. Mm-hmm. But I never looked at it as until I think it was my cousin was like, hey, he introduced me as a CFO or whatever. And I was like, that's kind of weird, the CFO. But
Chief Financial Officer, that's
yeah,
not good.
But I'm like, oh, CFO. I didn't even think about it like that, right? But I started thinking about it more. I'm like, and if, I'm having these conversations, and most of my conversations are around numbers and finance and really simplifying the whole financial picture for an entrepreneur, because it can be really complex, but it also can be really simplified. And so being able to simplify it.
Can I be a testament of something that you did though? Yeah. So when you made me do my business plan, I had already written my business plan. It was just me bringing it back to life. Mm-hmm. But I think write the vision and make it plain, that was so important, because even if I don't look at it, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm doing everything that I said I was going to do in this vision. Like in this, like I'm hitting these numbers, like I'm doing well. And then I can easily spit out a cash flow statement. I can easily get a balance sheet. I can easily get a profit and loss. Yeah. When I say easily, I have all of my files in order where you're getting them within 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And you typically are getting them in 15 minutes because like you said, I don't value my time. Right. So I don't have time to deal with you. And I got all these documents right here. So I just spit it out to you. And when people interact with me, I think that's one of the things that they're impressed with. Like, how you got all this information so fast? Because my background is business. Like, I naturally know that this is important. Right. And so I need to be able to get this real quick and give it back to you. So there is validity to that. And it is impressive when I go into different meetings with people and I'm trying to do different things. Yeah.
So that's how like I knew, like most of the clients I have now knew me before and knew that I did finance for my own stuff. Okay. But once I started doing it for other people, then they like reach out, hey, can you do mine and so forth. So that's how we got into the bookkeeping and operational finance.
So are you still with CFDI?
ECDI?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still do business. I still do like business coaching, not as much so.
Because then I said CFDI just because I know that's the broader name that people have been using. I've seen it on social media. And I didn't know if you were still with them or not. I know my cousin who introduced me to you, she told me, I was like, I don't think he with them no more. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't know what.
I'm still with them.
Okay, so you're going to the grand opening for the ceremony at
I done did like 3-4 classes in there already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How come I don't get those emails?
I think you got those emails.
No, I don't get
those.
If
you still get their emails,
I'm still a paying member. I don't get no damn email. I don't.
Oh, you need
I
to.
would have come taking a class with you.
Yeah, it was a business basic class. I did it in Cleveland. I did 4 classes in Cleveland, and then 4 classes in Akron. Like that was my whole month of April.
I've never gotten. I would have taken a class.
Yeah, it was a business basics class.
So do people still argue back and forth with you about different information?
No.
Okay, because I was in one class and the lady was like, "Well, I don't understand." I'm like, "You don't understand? Like, does it matter if you understand or not? Somebody is doing something for free. Take what it is, use what you can use, and keep it going."
I don't maybe I didn't even look at it as an argument.
You probably didn't, because the way
sometimes people have like aggressive ignorance.
Oh, okay.
And so and I don't try to fight that, because in fighting it, I'm first trying to seek to understand it, right?
Okay.
But in fighting that, if you say, "Well, Diego, I think I should do it this way," I'm gonna say, "Try it. Let me know how it turn out." Because here's the thing: you may learn something and share it with me that I didn't know, and I'm okay for you to do that, for you to go through that and learn that whatever that thing you gotta learn, to come back and say, "Hey, I did it actually work," and I'm like, "Man, what did you do to make it work?" Or it didn't work. Well, what happened? What did you discover about yourself? What did it teach you about yourself that you may need to know? Like, it's like, for me, nothing. So kind of a broad term, but nothing really happens bad.
Oh yeah, you should learn from each mistake, each incident. Yeah, I do agree with you. I don't know if you knew this, but I'm an MBA and a WE in the state of Ohio.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, so I'm moving on to.
Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you.
But I would say eventually pick one. Like pick something you're gonna move forward on.
So I don't think you know this either. So I own a travel company.
Yeah.
I have this business, and then I have another business that we kind of talked about that deals with a lot with intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to get a patent for the process. I did recently meet somebody locally because I was reading an article. I didn't know that the Swifter guy was based out of Ohio.
Oh, I didn't know either.
The guy who invented the Swifter, he's invented a lot of just devices, patents, which then sparked me, well, let me look in my own backyard to see if I can find an industrial. Is it, in your opinion, do you think it's easy to make 10K in 30 days?
Yes or no?
Answer that.
So, I think it's simple to make it. I don't think it's easy. Like, there's a lot of different strategies you can come up with to make $10,000, but you got to still work, and you got to have a mindset. Sometimes that's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy to get up in the morning and discipline yourself to be able to do it. Sometimes it's not easy to be able to hit the gym and kind of work out. Sometimes it's not easy to stay in the area, well, to have boundaries around you where you don't let people distract you. That's not easy, but it's simple to do it.
Okay, and then what was the dumbest thing you ever purchased?
The dumbest thing I ever purchased. The dumbest thing I ever purchased.
Like, you were in a moment, you spent the money on it, and you were like, why did I do this? So, for example, for me, I had this goal. If I ever made $1 million, I would book me a first class ticket, go to Montreal, and eat at Le Avenue. I may have mispronounced it. Well, I went to the wrong restaurant. It was a Delta first class flight. The plane looked like it was falling apart. It was dirty.
I think the dumbest thing I ever purchased.
My hotel room was so cold. I got sick.
I purchased a lot of dumb things. A Jaguar.
You didn't like the car?
I wasn't ready for the car.
Oh, okay.
I was young. I wasn't ready for it.
I mean, did you total it? Like,
and it was an older Jaguar.
It wasn't maintained. I'm confused. I thought you was gonna say something like
No.
a coat. I bought a watch. I was expecting that. I was not expecting.
That's a longer story. Let me think of something else. That's a whole line. That'll take another hour about that story.
Yeah, no. Okay.
The dumbest thing I ever purchased, though. I don't know that question.
It was on the list I sent you. He said I just glanced at it.
No, I remember the question, and I thought about that question. That one stood out, and I said the dumbest thing I ever purchased.
Because you make money and you say to yourself, "Oh, when I get here, I'm gonna do this," right? And you do it, and you like, oh, "This is not how I envisioned it going." Like I said, I went to the wrong restaurant. It wasn't even the one, and then
I think that it was some suits.
Suits?
Yeah.
It was custom suits.
It wasn't. It was way bigger than what I needed. They were way big than what I needed to.
So you didn't even know that you needed to go get them tailored as a man?
I didn't.
Oh, wow.
I didn't. You just buy them and, put them on.
No, you don't.
That's what I thought. Like, now I know because,
Yeah, but I
didn't know that.
Wow.
No, you know what the dumbest thing I ever purchased?
Thank you, yes.
Weed.
But
because I thought I wanted to be a drug dealer.
And you lost money on this video.
Listen.
Thank you for listening to a candid conversation I had with Diego. I hope you felt inspired, motivated, intrigued, and willing to explore the topic of business on your own. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below. Leave any extra questions that you had, maybe that we could have touched on and expounded a little bit more on, so that next time we will answer your question in full. In advance, thank you and have a great day.